Good early morning on the West Coast, Northern California. I wanted to look at the nation of Iran and see what its future is, especially where women are concerned and with what it's been getting up to, getting involved and stirring up trouble. I just want to see generally what's ahead. It's now, it's further future. So let's see what we get. I've shuffled these really well, and I'm hoping that I can make sense of it. So let's take a look. Okay, first card. Oh, we are getting the card of starting fights and frustration and trouble with the Five of Wands. And this is its, if you ask me, its means of creating and inciting conflict and stirring the pot, as they say. So, this also, interestingly enough, says complicit. So, to me, it's just really confirming. Isn't it crazy how the cards will do that? Out of all the cards in the deck that I could get, why didn't I get the Sun card? If it's crazy how these cards will just line up. So that's definitely on point. I think there's also, I feel like we're also being shown that there's more fighting within that nation. And I think yet, it's just a hit that's kind of coming to me, that people are going to remain unsettled in trying to strive for the version of Iran that they want. So you have a lot of people with different agendas. And I see this as also interior conflict within its own borders and not just out in the world. So to me, it's not just one means of being conflictual and creating conflict, but I think it's an even deeper message of, not surprisingly, there are yet brewing within Iran a number of people that have a different opinion to what is currently in place. And so I think for the now, so to speak, we are going to see one that is contentious, that is creating trouble and having problems within its own boundary. Okay, let's cross it and see what's happening. We get the Ace of Cups. This is an overflow of emotion. So we're getting a lot of passionate feelings and also people having an overflow that they cannot contain. That makes a lot of sense. So they need to learn how to regulate their feelings better. And I say that because it is in the position of crossing them. And they do have this card of conflict with others. It just feels like a hot basket of mess, to be honest. So there's an emergence at the present of a lot of very passionate feelings that are at odds, I think, with each other and the world. I see it feeling like a popcorn popper. It's hot and it's ready to go off. And if there's just overflow with this, of tension and emotion that wants to be released. A lot of emotion that's been pent up. Basis card is the Chariot. So this is about someone using their willpower in order to overcome any obstacles to it, and kind of, if you will, like a steamroller, right over the top of them. Now, if you have an agenda that isn't fair to the majority of the people living there, then you're going to have problems with this approach. But I also believe this is in trying to create stability. I'm sensing as well with the Chariot that it is taking things outside of their borders, traveling. This is bringing the fight, excuse the wound back, but bringing the fight to other places, just being contentious and trying to achieve a victory. But I don't think that they are pulled together enough. I keep getting a sense of, I don't know that it's necessarily a civil conflict, but it's starting to feel that way the more I look at these cards as a potential. Because people are determined here to move forward, to overcome and overtake those that stand in their way. Very determined. And definitely packed up with a lot of emotion. Crowning them, they have the Hermit. This is isolation to me. This is also soul searching. This is something I believe that Iran will have to do, especially with the conflict of agendas. Soul searching at the end of the day and deciding what nation they're going to be. Are they going to just create trouble and then create a position of isolation for their nation and suffer from that? Or are they going to soul search and realize what they need to do in order to get out of this position that's so conflictual? Again, it just feels like a hot plate to me. Recent past, we're getting the card of the Wheel of Fortune. To me, that they do have certain things that they're meant to get involved in and change. Now, this is in the past, and there have been changes that have created, obviously, where they are. And part of it is outside the wheel of their own nation, but they're getting involved anyway. And it might be something that they are meant to do in this world, and that is a part of their journey to grow and soul search and seek wisdom, real wisdom, wisdom that's outside the parameters of orthodox, strict, traditional means. This is a little bit outside the box here with the Hermit. I also, again, feel that they're probably going to find themselves in a place of isolation because of all this conflict. Now, here we have a partnership coming into play. So, actively seeking, I think, partners that have a same agenda or a similar agenda that they can team up with to achieve what it is they're seeking. I also feel that there are people that against the more conflictual agenda and wanting to bring more peace in, and especially where women are concerned. So the way forward for them may include looking at bringing more equality in. And I'm sure it will be with a lot of passionate feelings around it, those against it and those that are for it. And it makes sense. It's part of their evolution. Here we have the King of Pentacles. To me, this feels like their present time. They are being controlled by those male energy that want to have everything their own way. That want to call all the shots, that want to be the authority, say where the money goes. This also feels very old school to me. And it feels like it needs air. It feels like it needs to open up and get with not just get with the times, but get with what is sensible, what is reasonable, and less of this radical kind of extremism. To me, this is the male energy that wants to hold it in place and keep control of everything and feel secure by extending a hand of control and by the threat of conflict. Again, I think that this not only goes for people partnering up with those that can help them to achieve an agenda for more positive equality, but I also for those that don't want it, unfortunately, and for them connecting up with other nations that, again, hold a similar energy that's conflictual. Sorry, losing room here. All right. In their environment, they get the Four of Cups. So they don't, this is a feeling of dissatisfaction with where things are at. And to me, that is part of the reason why they're stirring the pot. In an essence, they can't appreciate what they have. They want to meddle. They want to do other things than deal with what they need to deal with. You know, it's really a matter of not appreciating what you have and also, in some cases, not being satisfied with the lack of freedoms, I have to think. There's just in general a dissatisfaction within their borders. Again, I get a strong sense of people pushing agendas and it not being well accepted by everyone. So I get a lot of conflict within its own borders and that outside of it. It's like they want to ignore what their problem is. And they don't want help. So that's going to create, again, a possibility of some isolation that's even more pronounced in the future as a possibility. Interesting. We get the partnership aspect again within the hopes and fears position with the lovers. You know, to me, this is bringing union despite differences. That is the ideal. I believe it is also the ideal for the equality of women and a greater balance that's harmonious and that is guided more by true spiritual seeking and not just the King of Pentacles. I want to control everything. Right? That's their hope. And it's a good hope to have. And maybe in the near future, they start to go toward their dream. But I think there will be also those that seek to oppose them and get people on board with their agenda to oppose it. Final outcome. Ooh, we have the devil. This indicates there is a desire to control at all costs and to keep people more or less enslaved to problematic and definitely not healthy means of living. I see chaos. I see also, I think, a resistance to this really strong-handed approach. And again, I think we're dealing with the balance between male and female. I think a lot of nations are dealing with this issue between being really to one extreme or another. But at the current time, there is a definite need for much more compassion and nurturing and caring for people, not just going to war and just having everything in shreds. But it looks like, unfortunately, for the foreseeable future, they're going to have chaos. They're going to have people doing some of the worst that they can think of and creating conflict, creating, frankly, a great deal of harm. Let's get a few more cards for clarification for Iran. Okay, we get that feminine Mother Earth energy coming in here with the Queen of Pentacles that wants security and nurturing. And to me, this is the women. Very earthy, very maternal. But let's see what's paired with it. The Ace of Swords. I really believe the issue with women will come up. And a real push toward the equality of women and a more nurturing energy. There's a real fight here that is going to come up on their horizon. Also with other nations. And I think what will, at the end of the day, fall in their lap is a very broken nation that is in need of them ceasing creating trouble and conflict and caring for their people, something that most governments need to do at this time in history, is to make a change, to actually go from being corrupt, being controlled by money, being controlled by that King of Pentacles, interestingly enough, and shift to the Queen, where that money is being shared with the people, adequate rights and well-being are being shared and not just held on to and controlled by a male figure. So to me, we have factions within. It could even be a civil conflict within their own borders about what kind of nation they're going to have. And it really makes me feel like we have sides being taken, both, again, within their borders, of people of like-minded going up against people that are not like-minded, and outside of their borders as well. But I feel that there's a strive where the nurturing feminine energy again is coming forward and saying, really, this is enough. This must stop. There has to be clarity. There has to be a new way that is nurturing. Because I think, when you're just left in rubble, you can't keep having war. It comes to a point where even that kind of chaos can't continue, because there's nothing left to really blow up. Temperance. This is the need for balance between extremes and the right combinations of various means to create healing. It also takes patience. That is a very big thing with this card. Patience to create that harmony. But we see that as a possibility further out. But I think the saying it's going to get worse before it gets better because of their mindset. Yeah. This is the High Priestess, and this tells me that this healing may be going on in a hidden manner. There's also things that have yet to come to light and manifest towards its healing, but it looks like it's going to have to go through more conflict with itself and others before energies there shift, and in a pretty dramatic way, toward trying to balance out these extremes. And again, a very feminine, intuitive energy coming in, trying to work along with the more nurturing, earthly, sharing, Earth Mother type of energy to create a combination that's going to heal. So I do see the beginning to work on healing, but I feel that it is much further out yet than where we are at present. But it'll eventually come to it, because I really do feel that it's going to become such a mess that they won't be able to just continue on making more messes. And here we have the beginning of the Nine of Pentacles, which deals with independence and well-being, and not being dependent on other countries to have this, that, or the other. So hopefully this indicates they come out from underneath of having to partner up with other nations that aren't going to lead them in a more healing direction. Let's see what the second card of the pair is. Yes, again, healing. This takes a long time, though. This is peace and healing, but also retreat and inactivity to focus on well-being. So I think at the end of the day, eventually, they will become a healthier nation, one that eventually is more independent, has more independence and equality, and is working on doing loads of serious, deep, deep healing. And that makes sense after seeing the devil as their outcome. It just means things are going to get better before they get worse. And that is what I have for now for Iran. If you appreciate these readings, please give a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next reading. Thanks so much.